Hi everybody, welcome to Jana's Farms. And today I thought I would show you how I cook my noodles when I haven't had time to properly dry them. Now we're going to a potluck this evening, and I have been busy all day and I just never got around to making my noodles to where they could dry enough. So these guys are still pretty bendy, pretty flexible. Haven't had time to hardly dry at all. So anyway, you first want to get your water nice and boiling, rolling boil, and drop them in kind of one at a time, or just a few at a time, and do not stir them until they start rising to the top on their own. Otherwise, you will end up with a giant mess of glob, or actually just a giant glob, really. See how they're starting, some of them are starting to float to the top here? But you want to give them a little while for all of them to start floating to the top. And you want to kind of drop them in a few at a time, because they are still wet, and if they go in stuck together, they're going to stay stuck together. And I've got quite a few noodles here, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get all of these dropped in, and then I will show you what it looks like once they have all kind of risen to the top. Okay, we're back now, and see how these guys have risen to the top, and now we're coming back to a boil. And once they've kind of risen to the top like this for you, it's okay to go ahead and start stirring them, because they've all puffed up into their own shape. And I don't just stir. I just kind of fold them in, like so. You don't want to stir them too much. Now, as these guys cook, they're going to take the juice. Whoop, maybe I shouldn't have done that. They're going to take the juice and make their own broth, which is really nice. And they are excellent over mashed potatoes. They just have that really nice texture to them. And here in a little bit I will add the chicken in once they are done cooking, because the chicken's already done and cooked. This is the broth. And these are just excellent noodles. They're kind of, to me, they're a comfort food, really. So anyway, I just thought I would show you how I cook the noodles when I haven't had time to properly dry them. Now, they do taste different. Although they don't taste different, but they have a different texture whenever they've had time to properly dry. And then the ones that haven't had time to properly dry, they do have a chewier texture than if they were to have been properly dried. And if I'd had the time to dry them, you can just drop them all in at once, and you shouldn't have a problem with any of them sticking together. Now, like I said, these did not have time to properly dry, so I had to drop them in one at a time and let them rise to the top before I even started stirring. Otherwise, they would stick together and be one giant glob. Okay, now, I let these guys cook until I like the texture of the noodle. So taste testing is kind of a must with these guys. Normally 20 minutes or so, depending on how fast you cook them. Just depends, and it depends on the thickness of the noodles. If they're real thin, it takes them less time. If they're real thick, it doesn't take them, or it takes them longer. So anyway, that is how I cook them when they are fresh. So I'm just going to let them come back up to a boil here. I'll stir them occasionally. When I like the texture of the noodles and when I think they're good and done, I'll turn them off and they're ready to serve. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed. Any questions or comments, feel free, and you guys have a good day. Take care. Bye.